I'm Nadia Ely, and welcome to today's discussion around grid resiliency and its impact on Dominion Energy's grid transformation plan. The GTP aims to safely, reliably, and affordably shore up and improve our existing infrastructure and systems to equip them for the grid of the future. This series explores the various grid resiliency initiatives that play a role in making up the greater GTP. Two of these initiatives are the Targeted Corridor Program and Telecommunications. Joining me to discuss the significance of these are IT Enterprise Project Manager Jerry Warren and Manager of Electric Distribution and Forestry, Cathy Vick. Thank you for being with me. Cathy, let's start with you today. Can you walk me through what the Targeted Corridor Program is and what it aims to achieve?
Certainly. Nadia, there are currently two components to the Targeted Corridor Program: ash tree removal and ground floor maintenance using herbicide. Ground floor is our corridor where our electric lines are located. In 2002, the emerald ash borer was discovered out in the Midwest. It causes 100% mortality in ash trees. It continued to move eastward and eventually came to Virginia. So the ash tree removal program identifies and removes any ash tree that may pose a risk to our lines. The damage from the ash borer results in a very brittle tree that can't be safely climbed and may require some specialized equipment if we can't get a truck to it. The herbicide program selectively applies herbicide 1 year after our maintenance trimming that reduces the amount of woody growth on our distribution rights of way. This woody growth can cause outages and inhibit access to our facilities for routine inspections or unplanned restoration work. We have over 32,000 miles of overhead lines that we need to maintain for access and reliability. So the Targeted Corridor Program aims to improve grid reliability and resiliency while minimizing environmental impact.
Thank you for explaining that, Cathy. Coming to you now, Jerry, what are the core objectives of the GTP's Telecommunications Initiative and how these are connected to priming the grid of the future?
The core mission of the GTP program is pretty straightforward. It's to deploy a network that is secure, resilient, and reliable that provides the capacity to support our business use cases. In terms of the grid of the future, also known as the smart grid, right? The smart grid of the future, needs data to operate. So as more and more intelligent grid devices are deployed, grid sensors, substations are being modernized, we have an increased penetration in DG. The ability for these devices to communicate with our control centers, operators is essential. So data feeds grid automation, situational awareness, real-time visibility of grid conditions. Having a secure and robust telecommunications infrastructure is foundational to enabling these systems to receive timely data and ultimately have command and control of the grid. And the grid of the future will require all of these things.
Thank you, Jerry, for outlining that. Cathy, the SCC recently approved two targeted corridor programs, an ash tree remediation program and an herbicide program. How are these efforts advantageous and what do they aim to achieve?
Nadia, these programs are advantageous because we're removing known threats to our facilities and making access easier to our corridors when we do need to do maintenance or repair our lines. Identifying and proactively removing the ash trees before they become too brittle will reduce the safety risk, reduce the cost of removal, and eliminate dead hazard trees that could cause outages. Limiting the growth of incompatible vegetation or the woody stems creates an environment that encourages grassy growth, creating habitat for flowering plants and wildlife. This selective herbicide application across the entire width of the corridor will control the significant number of woody stems that exist from years of doing maintenance mowing and allow grasses to establish and help choke out the woody plant growth.
Thank you for explaining those, Cathy. Back to you, Jerry. How does the Telecommunications Initiative support the company's ability to improve reliability and resiliency?
So there are many components that help improve reliability and resiliency of the grid, the telecom infrastructure being just one of those components. More specifically, these telecommunication solutions support our distribution automation systems, our intelligent grid devices that all rely on secure and timely data to operate. So in other words, our distribution automation systems and operators depend on reliable and resilient telecommunications infrastructure to provide timely data that in turn enhances their ability to operate the grid. Also, our telecommunications infrastructure also supports our cyber and physical security at our critical facilities. So that's a part of the reliability and resiliency as well.
The last question is for both of you. What does success look like for these programs, and what are the benefits of each to our customers? Cathy, I'll start with you, and Jerry, please weigh in here as well.
So we started the ash tree identification and removal program along with the herbicide spraying in 2020. Since that time, we have identified over 30,000 ash trees for removal and have actually taken down 25,000 of those trees. We've also sprayed over 25,000 miles of our rights of ways and should complete the first round of spraying by the end of this year. Success is safely operating our system for our field crews and our contractors. It's also reduced SAIDI and SAFE. This means fewer outages for our customers, and when we do have those outages, they're of a lot shorter duration.
In terms of the telecom solutions and the telecom program in context of GTP, I think ultimately success is defined by our customers' experience, which in many times comes down to reliability metrics. And so as we continue to implement all the components of the GTP program, telecom being one of those, all aimed at improving our customers' experience, as well as supporting clean and renewable energy, I think ultimately that's success as all of these components work together.
I'd like to thank Cathy, Vick, and Jerry Warren for their expertise and participation. Learn more about grid resiliency and the grid transformation plan at dominionenergy.com/grid improvement projects. Thanks for listening, and be on the lookout for future episodes. I'm Nadia Ely.